More than 100 characters in the AWAKEN tier list, and here is the best way to prioritize what you're going to build and for what reason. Hello gang, welcome to the channel, and today we're gonna go through another tier list, this time for our favorite AWAKEN characters, the characters that can't go into tier 4 and any further advancement, and they can go until AWAKEN, TRANSCEND and level 70. There are multiple useful characters in the current meta of ABX, ABL, Alliance Conquest, but there are also some characters really good for the new players that they should pick from AWAKEN selectors or gather bios to build them, because the AWAKEN characters are the first characters that any actually player can build just doing 1 week of Alliance Battle Extreme or Alliance Battle Normal. I can't remember where is these rewards, but I think it's really easy these days to get an AWAKEN character, and I'm gonna help you through where to focus depending on what you want to do from ABL, ABX, Alliance Conquest, as I told you, new players, and Shadowland characters. As you can see, there's a huge amount of characters, this like 100 and kind of more characters. So I have really a lot of work to do. I'm gonna fast forward through the Shadowlanders, the characters that didn't get any further update lately, and they're really bad. But yeah, before we go through that, guys, I want you to make sure that you have smashed the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you can get all the awesome content we're dropping, from shorts, the sneak peeks, from live streams, community posts, and also the videos that like one you're right now here. So let me know down below in the comments also which is the next AWAKEN character you are focusing on building after seeing this list, or if you already have something in mind. So let's go into the content and fast forward for all the Shadowlanders. This is the bottom of our tier list, and these actually characters has no use into the current meta in PvP or PvE. You can actually not get any further value from them. There is some value on characters like Medusa for supporting only Black Bolt in the game, but yeah, it's like super small buffs, and also you can have better alternatives for supporting Black Bolt actually, because he has his own leadership, so you can use as support way better characters. Also same thing for Man-Thing. He's supporting all the Fantastic Four, but in the same time there are no Fantastic Four in the current meta. The rest of the characters has a bit value, let's say, perhaps on Alliance Conquest, some of them, but it's minor and I don't want even to mention it. So let's start from my favorite one, which is, as you know, ABL ABX Meta. There is a lot of characters being useful, and one of them, and the super useful actually character for this specific category, it's no other than the latest epic quest, Hope Summers. Hope Summers, it's the #1 of the list for the AWAKEN characters actually, and she is so good. Her damage is out of your mind. It's the only character that it's not tier 4 and it's used in ABX and ABL as damage dealer. It's the only character, the only type combat female that there is no tier 4s actually, but in the same time her damage has nothing to jealous out of a good tier 4 like Moon Knight. She's doing like way better damage than a Moon Knight with medium build. If you have a same build Moon Knight and the same build Hope Summers, from my account, Hope Summers wins. Yeah, so you can understand her value, but in the same time she's super expensive, and the very second alternative there, and a bit lower in the damage, not meta, but because I know that a lot of you don't have to spend these 7,000 crystals to get the character. It's understandable, so I have to give you the very next character, which is right now the best for combat female, and you're using there's a lot of people using her into the current meta, and that's our girl Nebula. But she's way behind. She's like 2 million behind our girl. And after these two characters, actually there are not other DPS. The rest of the characters are supports. Angela is the best support to use for 1 day of ABX. Actually, as you can see here, the day of ABX is the female universal day, and here and Philavel, it's the only two supports for this specific day. So C is one of the meta. I'm gonna put them into, you know, the category I'm doing all the time. You know, which is the most important. Actually, the most important character that is supporting right here, it's Mysterio. Mysterio is the best support from the Awaken. He's supporting Magneto, and his damage is really fair if you're missing Magneto and you don't have other characters to use. But the best use for him is to go and support Magneto in multiple ABX days and 1 ABL day, I think. So it's like 3 days for ABX and ABL, and that's what we are looking for in this card category. Other than that, the next one is Ghost Panther. Ghost Panther can provide support for, of course, Ghost Rider, but in the same time, he is providing support for Jean Grey. Jean Grey, it's really busted character for ABX and ABL, as you already know, when you're using her with the CTP of Raids. So you're getting a lot of value from him for multiple days of ABL and ABX. And also he's really good farmer to use him, you know, farm with Jean, your Dimension Rifts as her leadership. He's providing double leadership and support, and this is really important. Other than that, we have Robbie Reyes. Robbie Reyes right now is actually supporting and the second character other than the classic Ghost Rider that he used to support. Now he has to support also Better ABL. Better ABL also has the Flame tag, so he can get advantage of Robbie Reyes artifact. So you have to consider that with Robbie Reyes here, you have to have his artifact. With Mysterio, you have to have his last uniform. Every single character I'm showcasing here, sorry for that, I'm missing the uniforms, but you have to use their last uniform, 100%. But for Robbie Reyes here, you need also his artifact to get the maximum value out of his support. Other characters that are being used for ABX and ABL, it's characters like Kraven. Kraven is actually really useful for 1 day of ABX, and this is only if you use Green Goblin. If you use Green Goblin, you can get advantage of his last uniform of Kraven and give to your Green Goblin an extra percentage of damage against the beast. But it's only for Green Goblin. If you have already Mystique, you can't take advantage of Kraven, so there are other supports that you should use for this specific day. Next character on the list is Titania. Titania used to be one of the 3 characters we used to use for Combat Female Day. Here, Sif and Valkyr, or She-Hulk, but these days she's falling behind on damage, so most people are using her only for Combat Villain Day on ABL and ABX. And if you have your Namor, she's double supporting the strong characters. So she is meta, but in the same time, she's kind of falling behind from the current, you know, swaps that happened, with Hope being really good, and Nebula, but you prefer to use her with something like Sif, you know, it's kind of weird, so she's not that meta like she used to be. One of the best supports in the game right now, generic support, it's Valkyr, and her place, it's way in front here. Actually, I could say something like here, because you can take advantage of your support buff with multiple characters on the no restriction day. You should have her artifact first and invest on her and CTP of Insight to get maximum out of her, but still she is meta for Combat Hero Day of ABX and Female Combat Day of ABX also. So she's one of the best supports in the game, generic for World Boss Legend, but specific here for ABX and ABL, she is also giving you crazy value. The last character that I'm finding myself using more and more, it's Sif. Sif, it's a similar character like Valkyr, but in the same time she has a solid leadership for physical attacking characters, combat physical attacking, I think. In the same time, you can use here as leadership and support for Nebula. You can use here as leadership and support for Hope, but mainly you want here as a support, a generic support for multiple days that you can use for GBR or anything else. You know, on ABX and ABL, you're gonna find yourself using here only for combat female day these days, and there's no other use. So I'm letting here in the end of the meta list because I feel like C is falling behind a bit. So yes, this is the totality of AWAKEN character that you need actually for meta on ABX and ABL. There is no other supports that are AWAKEN right now and you can utilize to get anything out of it. So it's like 3, 6, 9, 10 characters, and actually it's 9 because you have to pick between Nebula and Hope. If you pick one of them, you can't use the rest. Also, if you have Mystique, is even less. You don't need Craven, so it's even simpler. It's only 8 characters to follow the top meta alliances. You know, if you want to score the high level on ABX and ABL, that's all you need. All you need is this, and most of them are really good with a CTP of Insight, as you can understand. But for Nebula case, it's Judgment, and for Hope, it's CTP of Raids. So let's go into the next list, which is our Alliance and Conquest, you know, the next row, which is the Alliance Conquest PvP meta. These characters are insanely good for PvP, and everyone who wants to compete at the very high level should prioritizing to build these characters. Let's start with the very last update, which is Rachel Summers. Rachel Summers is so good if you have your artifact at her last uniform. If you don't, yeah, is she worth paying all these crystals for her? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much you appreciate Alliance Conquest. I couldn't suggest to anyone to build here just for that, but she's good on other game modes, also as Otherworld Battle, and that's all, yeah. So it's kind of weird, but she is actually one of the best characters this day to use for Alliance Conquest. So yeah, I didn't want it to go one by one and take all this time, so I'm gonna fast forward through this Alliance Conquest meta. And as I told you, Rachel Summers, really important thing that she revives. So the reviving character, as the meta I told you for tier 3, you know, on PvP, on my tier list, the characters that revives and have immortality are really important in the current state of the game. So Rachel Summers, Cersei, and Sinister, Mr. Sinister are the 3 characters that have these abilities. Domino, from the other side, she is really cool, really good character. She has her own counter attack, and you can use her also for timeline battle if you play proper. But yeah, for Alliance Conquest is where she shines, and all of these characters actually can form one of the, you know, the best 20 teams in the current meta of the game. Characters like Spot, Electro, Toxin, Heimdall, Sunbird is a really nice character to do kills with him, also because he's reviving. He has the revive support buff, but he's reviving himself. Corvus also, they're not in the same level of you know, Mr. Sinister, but they're also because of the revive, they're popping out their Awaken skill and they're killing the enemy teams with just one hit. Baron Mordo also really good, Juggernaut, Luke Cage with Jessica Jones as a support, Makari is really good, Gilgamesh can do a lot of work, Dr. Voodoo is a really good option, the Reflector here, as you can see, Destroyer, he can reflect Jean Grey and kill her immediately. And after, there are some characters like Yelena Belova and Hulkbuster and Hawkeye, you know, that they are really good, and as part of a team they can do some kills themselves. And the fact that they are Awaken, if you put them in the second team, you can do some extra kills, etc, etc, but that's for an Alliance Conquest video. So that's the list for Alliance Conquest meta right now, and let's go to the new player that they don't actually need any uniform or any build to perform. You can get the character right now and build him and play the game without need to spend anything else than the materials to build the characters. This is a really important list in my mind, and let me put the characters again and talk about them later. And as it seems, there are a couple of them. Icon, it's the new character that I haven't reviewed yet, but yeah, she is really good to reflect for PvP, but also you can go and give her a bare minimum build and get maximum value out of her for PvE and PvP. She's really good character without needing to get a uniform or a CTP. I actually, recommend it 100% to go and spend the biometric selectors for hit, the free-to-play ones. After that, Kahori is one of the latest characters we took. You had the opportunity to get here as a free-to-play, but now she's a paywall, but still, if you have here, you have to know that if you build here at the bare minimum, she can do really good work, and also she has extra value for Alliance Conquest as the rest of the characters actually, but C specific has a passive ability that works like removing all debuffs from all the allies in the group, which is really impressive. One thing also, it's a really good character for Alliance Conquest, but in the same time, he is absolute killer. I have done a review on him. He is super proc friendly, and the damage he's pulling out for no uniform and just level 70 character, it's insanely good. After that, Scream, it's like the cheapest alternative for combat female and combat villain, and she can do really nice damage with just a proc. Scorpion also, after he took his Awaken, he has some value for free to play, and also Katie, or the name, I can't remember her name, I think it's Katie, yes, Katie. She used to be just tier 2, but she took her Awaken, and now she has you don't need her uniform, so you can throw her in, and she can do really great damage. She used to be a leadership for Santi, but still, for free to play, no uniform, and new player, she's totally cool and totally worth build, because you don't need to invest anything else to get value out of here. So let's go into the leads for PvP and support characters. For PvE, I don't feel like there are a lot PvE, but yeah, let's go and see, because the most of them are also ABL and ABX meta. But yeah, I'm gonna fix this later on. Let's go and spread the last characters that left. You can see it's very little. And yes, it was 100 characters, guys, so yeah. Oh, also in addition here, on the ABX and ABL meta, I put Psylocke. As you can see here in the top corner, Psylocke has no value right now, but we know for sure she's getting a tier 4 from some drawing of Daniku on Twitter, and also because Deadpool movie is coming. So until the summer, 3 or 4 months from now, she's going to be an absolute must-have. But I'm dropping here in the ABL and ABX meta because I feel like she's going to replace multiple characters there. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm letting her there with an asterisk just for you, to let you know that she's going to get something eventually. So the last two, it's the PvP lead and support. And the PvP lead of support here, I put them in a way that you can understand the value they have. But yeah, it's not 100% accurate. I mean, Colossus is all over Timeline Battle. You can see a lot of players using him. He's really good as a support, and only he can do some damage himself, and the fact that he has reflect on physical, you can get some kills here and there, but yeah, it's just support. Wasp also used to be meta for Otherworld Battle, and she's still really important character there. But yeah, she's kind of falling behind. She's a good standalone character. She doesn't need anything special. She can go there and perform. Quasar, the new Quasar that we took, is a leadership and a really good one for all the annihilators, but yeah, there's not a lot of annihilators to use actually for PvP. You know, better ABL and Gladiator seems to be PvE, so the other alternative like now it's Icon. Perhaps in the future where we're gonna get Ronan and we're gonna get Silver Surfer, that's like we saw on the sneak peek. We're not sure how value he's going to have. Malekith from the other side, he is absolute busted himself. He's doing the kills. He has a busted leadership for Alliance Conquest. He gives energy defense and also removal debuffs, which is really important for him, for your team in Alliance Conquest. And the rest of the characters like Maya Lopez, she's really cool, and she's also going to get something probably in the next few weeks. America Chavez, also really good character to go with, but the main use for her, it's the HP support he has and the extra reflex he's giving to your characters. Mandis also has a really good passive ability, but she is herself a really good character to go with. Spider-Woman, really good Spider-Verse leadership. You can use her and you can get great results. Supergiant, removal debuff leadership. Jessica Jones, it's actually in the bottom here use, it's only to go and support Luke Cage, which is not really important, but it's a side Alliance Conquest team that you can use and get some great results. Rescue's lead gives to the character an HP bubble, so combined here with others, you can get some really good results for Alliance Conquest. Beast has a really good lead slash support with HP for PvP these days with his last uniform, but he's not like a really good character himself. This boy here, I can't remember his name, it's the clone, oh no, it's the, from the, whatever, he is a support for Alliance Conquest for the Spider-Verse characters. Invisible Woman and Angel, also Angel is really good as a standalone character, but the main use of him, it's a leadership. Invisible Woman 2, Agent Venom, it's actually really strong, to be honest. He's really strong, even if you don't use him with Carnage, you can make a team with Toxin or Venom, you know, or a leadership and him and Toxin and get some great results. He himself do some great damage actually for Alliance Conquest. And the rest are Drax. Drax, actually there is no one else. I'm not gonna mention that there is no one else here. You can't see something here. Yeah, and other PvE lead supports. To be honest, it's kind of unfair for Ironheart because her leadership is one of the best combined to her support for blast types, but it's so limited use for her. It's only like World Boss Legend, and yeah, that's all. You can't really use her for multiple content. It's only GBR and World Boss Legend. She has a really good leadership, a really good support, but you need her uniform. She is paywall. Wave also used to be really good for you know, for the Alliance, for ABX and ABL, but these days people are not using her a lot. There is also Suri in the meta, and there is also Nick Fury, so no one is using her. That's the list. Actually close to 100 characters. That's a lot of work. I did it. I feel way less weight on me, and we can go on into that. And I have done all the tier lists now. I'm gonna let in the end of the video for the tier 3 tier list and the tier 4 tier list I did recently. I want now to do the tier 2 tier list because there is that tier list also, and the tier 4 tier list after the update with the tier 4 game mode, because we're not sure how the meta is going to change after the game mode that you need to use supports and lead tier 4s, you know, so we have to figure out that too. I hope I helped you decide what you're gonna build as your next character. This is my suggestions. Let me know down below in the comments if you feel like something is different that I actually say, or I did something wrong, you know. I'm all ears to answer you in the comments and do a healthy conversation. So thank you everyone for being here. See you into the next. Kisses in your faces.